D2C business and build an online brand. Today we have with us Nirmal Dayaramani. He's the CEO and founder at OutdoCart. He's with us to talk about how we can start a D2C brand and build an online brand. So before we go into that, I'm a part of PayU. I'm Mansa. I'm the part of the marketing team here at PayU. So PayU, as you all know, is one of the leading payment service providers. We are across sectors like airlines, SMBs, and of course the startup community. UpStart is our way of empowering businesses and startups in a way that we bring in subject matter experts like Nirmal here to talk about topics that help businesses empower themselves and take their business to the next step. So without further delay, over to Nirmal. Thank you so much, Nirmal, for being here today. This would be, I'm looking forward to a fun conversation with you. So please tell us about yourself, what you do, and why you started OutdoCart in the first place.
Thanks, Mansa, for having me here. Privileged to even partner with PayU, build the business together with one of the leading payment gateways in India. Very quickly about me. So I started a decade back being into apps, website, e-commerce, and so on. Around 5 years back, we realized that a lot of these e-commerce solutions are either international focused or they are very open source related, where again, you don't control much on what can be built on it without any boundaries, or they are not up to the mark to scale bigger businesses on it. So what we basically understood was that the future is definitely going to be brands which grow bigger digitally. And we wanted to build a solution which can help them right from day zero to the day that they can even go to an IPO on the same platform without worrying about tech, CTO, infra, changes, design, branding. Literally, we are a one-stop shop to help them do everything other than what they are good at, building the product. Right? So they should do the product innovation. They should understand the pulse of the market. They should do R&D for their product. They should innovate. They should bring more products to the market. They should not worry about tech and design. We do that for them. So that's how we started OutdoCart 5 years back. We built for some of the bigger brands. Last year during pandemic, we realized that India really needs something which is cost friendly. They don't have to pay dollars to them. They don't have to pay percentage to them. Again, they don't have to be only English supportive. They don't have to write mails. Think of a shopkeeper who now has to shut down his shop because of lockdown, has to write a mail to support to understand why he's not able to set up, right? So we wanted to really help figure out how we can help India with the large platform that we have created. And that's how we created a DIY version last year, where in just 499 rupees, 500 rupees a month, we are giving them all the features that the other platforms were giving at least at 2,500 a month. So plus no percentage charged on the orders. So that was the goal. First, help Indian brands build really big platforms without worrying about tech. And from last year, we added on to it by helping the lower end of the funnel as well, by building a stable online business without worrying about tech whatsoever.
Absolutely, Nirmal. I think that is the need of the hour, and you people are able to solve for it. So that makes a lot of sense. So I have a few people in the comments having a few questions. So this
Sure.
is a conversation with a founder, CEO of a company. So what they deliver is they help businesses go live through they help D2C businesses go live. So that's the whole purpose behind this conversation. So you can ask our speaker even entrepreneurship related questions, because he's an entrepreneur after all. He's been working on his company for the last 5 years, and he has other experience as well. So the questions are available for you to open. You can ask any questions. So you're open to ask any questions. So this is not a promotion activity as such, because I'm seeing a few questions on the chat. I feel like we have to answer it before we go forward with our
Sure.
session. So yeah, I think that's about it for our audience. So while we are talking about D2C brands and starting them, right? Please tell me what D2C brand is all about. Like maybe first we answer that question before we go into this.
Sure. So D2C is a very recent term for India. Not so recent for, let's say, West. But if you think of D2C in general, D2C was the first thing that any manufacturer did when the market started. So before, people used to make, let's say, jaggery and soap and oil and all that, go to market, sell to customers. Gradually that shifted to selling to distributors, going to retailers, going to shelf, and so on. Later it started with selling to, let's say, on Amazon and so on. I'm still fast forwarding a lot. And now we are back to basics, where you need to understand the pulse of the customer. You need to build something which customers love. You are not worried about making 1 crore pieces of the shampoo with all the preservatives in the world. Right? So it is not anymore just about building something that go mass, but it's also building about something which has a mission behind it, has a purpose behind it, is good for nature, good for consumers, easy on pocket at times, and it is also giving you high margins, right? So right now, all your margins are getting distributed between distributors, retailers, so on, so on, so on, all the mid-level managers. And what you want to really do is, you have come up with a problem. Let's say problem is, I don't like my shampoo, I don't like my soap, I don't like my cream, I don't like my pillow, I don't like my cycle, right? And you want to make it better, and you want to directly give that to the customer at a much good rate, with much superior R&D done behind it, right? So that's where the D2C has evolved from starting to produce, going to market and selling, to today, where you want to specialize in that field, and then you want to go to the market and make sure that everything else which is around you on the shelf is good in terms of their own formulation, let's say. But what you bring to the table is much better in terms of quality, in terms of pricing, and everything else. So D2C is the latest trend, which is very good for India, because if you go outside India, what Indian brands do you hear? Nothing, right? But when you are in India, half of your, let's say, your wardrobe or your kitchen or anything is filled with things which are not from India, right? Whether it's sauces, whether it is packed material, whatever, packed foods, right? Most of them are actually originally funded by or run by companies which are outside India, whether it is PNG, whatever, right? So we want Indian brands to grow. And the only way to do that is, first, in India, we need to adapt more homegrown products, homegrown brands, which has a single product or a product chain. And the only way to do that is D2C or direct to customer, where you understand customer pulse, build better brands, and then scale it to a bigger masses. Again, we have the machinery to do that. So first thing is, find the niche and do it. So that's what D2C revolution is all about. If I want to add a little bit on it, so a lot of people will understand this very vaguely. Okay, we understood that D2C is going to the market. A lot of people don't realize this, and this is something I'm picking up from today's conversation with someone. They are into dry fruit market, right? So dry fruits are made in India at are grown in India at a lot of places and sold at a lot of places outside India. But these all guys are behind the curtain, right? They don't get the benefits that are required. They don't get the name that is required, because someone else is purchasing from them, putting their sticker and selling online, etc. Right? So a lot of people who are in traditional business are realizing that D2C is going to revolutionize even their world. So it is not just like, I have a problem that, I am not getting a better biscuit and I am out there baking my own biscuits. But it is also about, traditional businesses understanding that, like we say, that, this is an export quality, right? Why not that export quality is in India? Because these people were getting all the Westerners coming and getting these things packed and exported. But now they have equal chance to go to market themselves, buy a better branding, etc. But go to market themselves and sell to Indians, the same thing. And it is going to revolutionize both the sides. whether it is the seller side or whether it's the consumer side, we are in for a treat. We are in for a very better products, very better quality products, homegrown products, helping our economy and so on. So yeah, that is a very long and understanding of what a D2C is to set the foundation of what we are going to talk about.
Absolutely. Now, when we are covering what D2C is, what do you think are the advantages of it? I understand you say go global, right? You can help
Yeah,
sellers go global. What else
yeah,
do you think can be done with D2C?
sure. So like I said, first main advantage is that people know you, right? So you have been doing quality products for last 20 years. I have this habit that whenever I go to any good resort, I pick up the shower bottles and everything, and I read like where was it made. It will be some guy in Rajasthan or some guy in Kerala, right? So these guys are doing this fantastic job for very big brands for so long, and they have been behind the curtain. Maybe, to be honest, I feel they would have paid 10% to purchase that item what they would be giving to us, right? So now these guys can come out, can build these brands on their own, have margins which are on their name. Let's say if the same 10% what they are earning, if they start selling it for 50% of the brand which is purchasing from them, international brand which is purchasing from them, as a consumer, we get 50% of the same quality that we were paying 100% for. These guys get the recognition, right? So they can get more funding, they can get more retailers to start selling them offline. If they have an online channel, then they get to build the community which is required around it. People actually appreciate what they've done. Till now, no one actually knows who did it. We are appreciating someone who puts a label on it, right? So that is not fair, and that's what D2C is going to do for you. Second, you are building loyalty again with your product. So now you have started. Let's say again, I keep going to shampoo for some reason, but let's say you started a shampoo brand and you have been already doing it for last 10 years. Now you can get into, let's say, oil. You can get into, I don't know, different things related to toiletries, and you can build a whole brand loyalty around it. Let's say Mama Earth, right? They started with solving for their own kid, food for their own kid, which was supposed to be coming from some international player. And today we are using their loofah, their lot of toiletries, right? So nothing to do with kid, to be honest, right? But we don't care. We don't care. What we understand is their mission. Their mission was create clean, good quality products, natural products, and that is what resonates even today. Once they started their journey, it resonates even today, and the brand loyalty is something that is giving them more customers every day. They are reaching targets which they have not thought probably when they started. They were not getting even funding. I think they loaned their home on something to start, right? So all of these things, and at the end, the revenue that it drives for you, right? So if let's say you are doing a traditional business of making these shampoos or making these coconut oil and so on, you can only reach a certain point, and you don't know when you will be replaced, because again you are a background. So what if an international brand has created a brand loyalty, but you are not there, right? That is the biggest challenge which people don't understand. A lot of people like, let's say, selling on Amazon because it gives them the market. But you need to understand it is very important for you to have your own website, your own branding, and so on. Amazon has the tendency of launching same thing in their own branded packaging and probably remove you altogether if required, right? So it is very important to understand that you not just are creating good branded products, but you are creating brand loyalty, you are creating traffic which comes to your brand, you are selling directly to the customer, you're giving the right experience to the customer. Let's say if I'm purchasing an ice cream which comes in a bottle, but Amazon is breaking that bottle every time they deliver, that is not my problem ideally, right? So I need to make sure that if someone is purchasing from my website, I deliver it in the best way possible. And that's how people will see that I should go to the website and buy, not Amazon to buy, right? So build the market for yourself, build the loyalty required for yourself, and then you will own the market, and then you can expand very easily. So that's where I feel why it is very advantageous to get into D2C. You literally own it. You are not really piggy banking on Amazon, Flipkart, or I don't know, retailer, or a big size supermarket, or any of the external players which are the only source of selling. So that's how I feel it is advantageous.
Absolutely, Nirmal. So now understanding the advantages, how does one build a D2C brand? What are the steps
Okay.
one would take?
This will be even longer than what I've spoken before. So yeah, bear with me. So there are a few things I will say. For example, identifying, right? So we as consumer keep cribbing about at least one product every day, right? Like let's say I don't know, if I take a bottle from I can't tell the names, sorry. So let's say the thing is not tight enough, or I don't know if the plastic is good for me. I don't know if the headphones connect or not, and so on, right? So these are the problems we face every day. So we need to identify problems that we are facing as consumer. That is on the surface level. Second, let's say you are very passionate about something. So you know, when we're talking about product as product management, we say product market fit. When we're talking about D2C, we say passion market fit, right? So you need to be passionate about something. For example, let's say you're vegan, right? You're passionate about that. Let's say you're meat lover, you're passionate about it. You are I don't know, you're dog lover, you're passionate about it. Start from there, right? Because this is going to be a very hard journey, to be honest. Till you reach a point where people know you, people buy from you, they are repeat customers, they talk about you, they are your brand ambassadors, etc. It's going to be a very tough journey uphill, right? So you need to first understand, what you are passionate about, or what do you understand very clearly, right? It can be your traditional business that you understand very clearly, or it can be your passion which you understand very clearly, or it can be something that you want to really solve. It is a pain point for you, right? So either pain point or passion or a business that you're linked with, worked with, own it, anything. But you understand the market. You cannot be naive that I will make Maggie out of I don't know something else, which might not even be good, might be even worse than making the Maggie altogether, eating the Maggie altogether, right? So you need to be very understanding in nature that what you're getting into. You cannot just get into randomly. I know I heard the County Delight, the guys who are the milk D2C brand, when they started, they know nothing about milk, but they really wanted to solve customer problems. Like it should not be diluted, it should be very well tracked, and so on, right? So you can also start at a pain point that you understand of yourself or a customer that you want to solve. So don't think that you have to be genius when you start, but you need to be passionate when you start. Either passion for the pain point or passion because you are already in that mission in a way for your life, for your community, for anything, right? So you need to understand that. Then you need to start understanding few things related to whether there is business or not around it, right? So you need to understand demand. If there is demand for this, you need to understand if there is a shortage for this demand. You need to understand if there is any innovation happening or not in this particular, let's say, area or field or product line. You need to understand if there are any categories also or not in this. I recently started working with a customer who is doing structured water, right? I came to know what is structured water after talking to him, right? So we didn't know that there is a category like that, or there is a category even required like that. But after understanding what it is, we wanted to purchase it even before building the platform for them, right? So sometimes you need to also understand that if there is something which is not available in India, and or something which people are not aware of, but it's a great product to have. Sometimes it is required to take the plunge and do it. You need to understand if you're dealing with a niche, right? For example, Nika is a niche. It's a e-commerce, but in a niche. That's why they can compete with, let's say, Amazon, or any of these other niches that have been done. You need to very well understand the audience. Again, I'll take example of, let's say, vegan. So if you're getting into vegan, you very well understand the audience first, right? Let's say you should be first vegan. Let's say if I'm not a vegan and I'm starting something, I might start offending people more than helping them. Right? So you need to very well understand the audience that you're going to deal with. Above all, after doing all this, you need to understand. You need to put a number. Let's say this market that I'm going to get into is going to be, let's say, 1 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore, 100 crore. How big is the problem that you're trying to solve matters a lot, right? Otherwise, let's say the whole market is, let's say, 10 lakh as a gross sale for the whole year, and you're getting into that, and you might spend 50 lakh in just doing R&D on it. Right? Makes no sense. So you need to really understand when you're starting a business. I understand passion, fit, and everything, but at the end, you're going to run business which needs real money to pump in and real money to come out for you to again pump in. Let's say you need to really understand if there is a market size, that sizable market size that you want to go after, right? So this is still first point, which is identifying if this is the right place for you to do it or not. The second is taking a leaf from the audience part, speak to people. Right, so first you have understood there is a sizable market. You need to start talking to people who fall in that bracket, right? So you need to talk to people. You need to probably even go to market research firms if required, or if let's say you have easy access to these people, then start talking to them. Let's say if it is about, let's say, building a better biscuit, go to supermarket, talk to some people. I remember wearing T-shirt of one of the brand and talking to some people outside the supermarket just because I wanted to, while I don't even work for that brand, right? Just for the market research I want to do for free, right? So there are a lot of ways that you can talk to people. You should reach out. Don't be shy. If you are a founder, if you are starting something, if you are an introvert, get into the mode that you are an extrovert. To be honest, it's not going to work out otherwise. You need to talk to people, especially in D2C. You need to be very, very vocal in what you're doing. Talk to them. Write down the common pain points of your audience. If you are targeting a category that is already there, or you're targeting a problem statement that is already there, write down all the common points that these guys are facing, right? And try to understand what you can mix, match, and create the product that you are looking for. See, these are logical ways, right? That I'm coming down to, but there will be ways where, let's say, you are very clear that you want to do this. There is no problem, but there is no problem that anyone is facing. But you want to create it better. You want to elevate the experience of what is going on, right? I remember recently someone told me this, that if you see the Amazon, I don't know, the sellotape kind of thing that you get on your cartons is very different than what you get in Flipkart. And very different what you get in Zomato and Swiggy. It's like almost paper. It doesn't stick, like, so before you eat food, you actually are having your fingers full of the gum of your tapes. But when you are opening up Amazon, it's almost as you're opening a paper sellotape. So there are a lot of these things that you can innovate, which people don't even need. But you can innovate, you can look at bettering the experience and so on, right? So this is speak to people, understand common points. If there is no common point, think what you can innovate in it and so on, right? So that would be probably the second point that I will suggest. The third point that I will suggest is, how do you create it? Now, okay, you understood, you have passion, or you are you found a problem you want to solve. It's enough market size. Second, you started talking to people, you understood, okay, there are these common points that I need to solve. Now you need to create, right? So you need to create this product. So how do you create? Let's say you find the best manufacturers first, because these people are already doing, again, the same guy who's selling for 10% to a Western is also a manufacturer in a way. So don't shy away. Reach out to people who are already doing great work. Sometimes it will be hard. So easiest way that I find out is pick up the products I like, see manufactured by, call the person and get the manufacturer, right? So, I mean, it's easy said than done, but that's an easy way to do it. If it works, right? And sometimes they are good enough to tell you where else to go if they are not doing it, if they are under contract or whatever, right? Again, there is a chance that these things are not directly sold to you because of minimum order quantity and so on. So this is a big factor why I want to address right after manufacturing, because people will think, how will I manufacture if I want just, let's say, 1,000 bottles in the beginning, and manufacturer is ready to do only 1 lakh bottles of something. That's just giving a rough number, right? What you should do is you should ask them who are your suppliers, right? Who is purchasing bulk from you. Try to reach out to those suppliers. Try to figure out a deal with them where they will do the packaging, etc. for you, or if they are ready to sell it to you off the shelf without any packaging of any brand on it, and then you can get the packaging done. Good to start with, not to scale probably, but good to start with. You need to first see if the people who said these are the pain points, when you give them the product, are they ready to buy? Sometimes people crib a lot, but they don't like the price, right? So you need to make sure that you have some initial sales through your WhatsApp groups, through Facebook, through Insta, whatever it takes. Do some initial sales and see if people are liking your product, buying your product, repeat users are there, feedback are there, and so on, right? So you need to first see if something is available through a manufacturer or supplier, and try to get it out in the market and see what is the concept of the market about it. With that, you will also know what to experiment, right? So when you're giving to your first consumers, they will say, let's say, I'm not happy with the smell of this floor cleaner, right? You created a floor cleaner which is great and smelling fantastic and so on, but it doesn't, let's say, if you have shoe marks or something, it's not able to wipe it away, right? So you got the pain point right, but you didn't get the basic right. No one tells you the basic most of the times, right? So if you're creating a floor cleaner, the basic is that it should clean right, should smell right is also important, but it's a property which is secondary, right? So you might get things right and you might get things wrong. So you need to experiment, right? You need to experiment a lot to see the balance that mass or the audience like. So we keep doing this. We have a platform, right? OutdoCart. So we have a lot of requests from people who come and say, I need this, I need that. What we do is we go with the rule of 80-20. So whatever 80% says, go with that. Whatever 20% says, keep it in your roadmap. You will do it, but maybe it is not as important because majority of your market says that this is important or this is priority, right? So this is how we prioritize what we need to build, and we do that every day. Every day we listen to clients. I myself do chat support at times, and I myself reply to some chat. I have given demo to people and talk to people to understand what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong. Without doing that, you will not understand what to even build next, right? So you need to experiment a lot to get your product right. Also, you need to understand that when you're building and launching, you need to keep in mind that you're building this as a business, right? So it should not be built on basis of that you are 50% off than the market leader. Might not be the costliest, but let's say the market leader. You might not want to sell it at a discount, right? So you don't want your MRP to be too less. You don't want your discount heavy products to be there. I wouldn't say that's always the case. Like, we buy a lot of these D2C brands, at discounts. Yesterday, there was a very big D2C brand doing buy one, get one, right? So it is required. That's how India works, to be honest, right? But you need to understand that you are not building audience because you are cheaper. You are building your audience and your customers because you are better. And the better is coming at a better price, right? Not better is coming, not the okay quality is coming at a cheaper price. So let's go for that. We all also fall into that trap, right? We go to Spar, we will not take, let's say, something of a better brand. We will take the Spar branded because it's half the cost, and then you know that it's liquidy. It is not really great, right? So we all have been into that. We all fall for that. But again, as a consumer, it's okay because consumer is again 1-to-1, depending on person to person. But as a founder of one of the D2C brands, I will suggest don't fall into the trap of your product will only work when it is 50% off, when it is buy one get one, and so on. If you're doing that, you are in for a very bad ride today or tomorrow, right? Until and unless your margins allow and you are happy with doing that, you are sale-driven company, not product-driven company, perfect, go for it, right? So I wouldn't suggest that. Maybe that's how I have built things. So now we understood how to identify, how to create, and so on. Now, one of the most important thing that is required in a D2C is how do you brand yourself, right? So, for example, I was listening to Viva founder, and he said that everyone is doing red and yellow and green on their sauces, right? So if you go to sauce section, everything is green, yellow, red. But if you see Viva, it is white, right? So Viva sauces come in white label. So they wanted to distinguish where is the section where Viva is kept, where everything is white, right? So have very distinguishable branding. Have branding which people love, people understand. Sometimes it even strikes that this is the name and this would be the product. You might not always get it right. You might not always get the right domain and so on, but try to make it synonymous with what you are building. And again, same with branding. So let's say you're creating a natural brand. You don't want it to look like a club website, right? So you don't want it to be too jazzy or so on, right? You want it to look really simple, nice, earthy, things like that, right? So always build a brand which matches your brand story, right? So again, to expand a little bit on it, have a brand story, which is very, very, very important. The only way a consumer connects with you is with a good brand story at first, right? The person needs to understand why there is a new product, which in this category, when there are already tens or hundreds of these, what are they doing differently, right? So all your passion will come out in your story, and that is super important. Your pain points you're trying to solve will come in story. If you are not having brand story, it is not just about consumer. Internally, your co-founders, your marketing team, your sales team, your product guys, no one will actually know what is the purpose that you are trying to solve, right? Are we trying to beat Himalaya, or do we actually have some purpose to build this brand, right? Your purpose cannot be beat one of the big guys. You need to have a proper purpose to do something on smaller and then grow it, right? So I feel your brand story is super important to start building from even before you start creating the product in a way, or while you're creating, or while you're talking to manufacturers and so on, because it needs to be synonymous with what you're trying to solve, and you need to be connected to it. That's when you will put in more energy and more understanding to what you're creating, what your manufacturing is giving you actually solves that problem or not, right? So brand story is also like a snippet for yourself, that this is what I'm trying to solve, and this is why I started it, right? So if today we talk to any Indian seller about OutdoCart, we are passionately talking to them about it, right? When we talk to an even investor who is trying to get their D2C brand upgraded into a better looking website and so on, they understand what difference we bring and what an international player who gives email support will do, right? Because you come with a mission. You need to have that mission written down on everything so that people understand why you're there. It can be a line, it can be a paragraph, it can be a blog, it can be a video, it can be anything, right? But have a purpose written down, right, in different formats, etc., right? And then try to get the branding done which suits, resonates, your product, your category, your brand story, your audience. If you're vegan, for example, your audience should see it and understand that what you're trying to say. They should not, if they are seeing, let's say, your vegan mayonnaise kept with eggless mayonnaise, kept with, let's say, egg mayonnaise, create a distinction. That person sees and understands this is not eggless, this is vegan, right? So you need to create a distinction, because person, when they go to a supermarket, most of the times they already have a list of what they want to buy, right? Especially now with double the mask and so on, people are even more scared to go and come out faster, right? So have a clear understanding with your branding that who else is there in market and what are they doing, and then define what you should do as per your brand statement, and make sure that you nail it. Without good branding, without good looks, is same as a great car, a bad car with a good engine compared to a great looking car with an okay engine, right? So the first point of sale is great looks, identifying the mission immediately, and so on. So I will suggest build upon that. That is super important. Okay, I've already stressed this a lot. Let's come to the last point. Community, right? This is so important. I can't stress this enough. When you are building a D2C brand, from day one, start building community. I would say day -1, start building the community, right? So when you're talking to customers about what you're trying to solve, what drives you, what's your passion, and so on, start building community right there, right? Stay in touch, make WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, whatever you are comfortable with, they are comfortable with. Stay in touch, keep talking to them, make them feel they are part of your R&D, to be honest. Especially the starting customers and the starting people you have discussed with, make them feel like they are part of your R&D. I actually wouldn't mind to even put some of their names saying, created this new soap bar with help of Mansa, right? So give them importance, and trust me, this is what is going to get you lifetime customers, right? You will get very good feedbacks on your community saying that, I found this thing, wrapper was better compared to the wrapper that we are using. The wrapper still uses plastic, can we change it, and so on. Call it out on social, call it out on packaging, at least for the one stock that comes in. That special thanks to Mansa for helping us out. Special thanks to Amir to point that we should do this, and so on. Right? Empower your community same as you're empowering your brand, and it is going to give you leaps and bounds of exposure and brand loyalty and so on. Right? This is one thing that you are doing with your community. The second thing you should do is, your community is already busy with their work, right? They are working from home and so on. You need to expand their horizon in your passion by writing the right content. For example, again, I will keep going back to vegan because of very strong community behind it. Right? So you need to, there will be a lot of people who want to get into vegan for the benefits, etc., but they don't really know how it works and what they should do and how they should do. And there will be a lot of questions around it and so on. Build great content about your passion, about your product, about advantages, about what is bad for nature, environment, using straws, using plastic, etc. Share as much as you can, expand the horizon of your community to think beyond their basic knowledge, their basic likeness to your category. Take it to making them an expert through your content, right? And that's when they will start loving you. Because what you are doing is not unique, it is not patented, right? In terms of category, I'm saying, right? There will be 10 other shampoo brands in D2C which are coming next, right? Especially now at this point, right? So you need to build the community knowledge so that they realize that why this brand is something I want to go for. These people actually know what they are doing, and not randomly using one of the stars holding the bottle and say use this, right? There is a meaning behind it which they are trying to solve, and it makes a lot of difference. There is this protein bar, the Whole Truth. Founder is the male model in the ad in a way, right? And it's very nice, very funny ad, and it strikes where it is required. Explaining the people that how you are consuming things which are not told to you or hidden from you, or a pseudonym is used and so on, while we just use 4 ingredients or 5 ingredients as your bar. So literally you are eating the 5 ingredients that we are telling you and nothing else, right? And they were called nothing else before, now they changed it to Whole Truth. You don't need a superstar to sell it for you. You need a super product, super mission. You need to be vocal about it. You need to keep sharing about it. You need to build content around it. The more you share, the more people will know about you, the more they will purchase from you, the more they will talk about you. It's very, very important that your customers talk about you, right? They should feel they have something very unique in their hand that they use, and they go and talk to other people, saying, "Why are you eating, let's say, a Cadbury while you can use something like this?" So multiple reasoning on why community is very important. And yeah, at the last you get good feedbacks, reviews. You keep on improving. I don't remember case study right now, but there are instances where customers have actually told to build brands, to build products which are adjacent. Let's say someone going to ID and saying, "Why not you do vada while you're already doing idli?" Right? So sometimes consumers will come and tell you what you should start next. And again, you go with 80-20 rule. I actually have a full methodology on how you should listen to your customer reviews and choose what to start with. But probably if you go on my Twitter, you might find it. Right? So you need to basically have a plan. You should not listen to everyone and do everything. You should have a plan on how to choose, how to experiment, how to do a beta, how to do a mass production. Especially when you're doing production, it's heavy. It's capital heavy. You don't want to hit and miss. So yeah, that would be probably the last point that I would like to add. How to build a D2C brand. If the question
Sure.
was forgotten.
Yes. So Nirmal, now coming to after covering building, how do we launch it, and how much would that be priced, right? Like how would the pricing look like? We might have to rush with the questions a bit. We are almost
Okay.
reaching the part of the event.
Okay. To go quickly, see D2C. The main reason why D2C is different than traditional brands is because you don't really have to only go to a off-shelf, on-shelf thing that you have to find, let's say, Spar to sell you, or Big Bazaar to sell you, or go to Amazon and sell you. You can definitely do all of this, but I will suggest have your website, have your identity, where you have long form posts written about it and so on, right? So to give you an example, we definitely understand this problem because we are dealing with this category for a long time. And let's say you want to start your own online store, you can choose any of them. If you are choosing us, let's say OutdoCart, we help you build a full-fledged platform. I don't know if I should say this, but what something we were giving in lakhs few years back, now we are giving in 499 rupees, because we really want to empower. Like, it's something that people have been ignored, which cannot pay, or want to experiment but don't want to experiment at a cost which is not really feasible. I remember talking to a very famous RJ of Bangalore, and he said how he wanted to start a t-shirt brand with one of his friend, but it didn't shop because XYZ was charging $29 and 2% on it. Right, so they didn't start a D2C brand being the most famous RJ of Bangalore. Right, that's ridiculous, right? Now we are supporting, much bigger brands, people who have like 25,000 orders, someone who is at home selling bedsheets doing 3 lakh rupees business on our platform with just 499. We don't have discrimination of charging someone higher, charging someone lower. You are doing more business, I will charge you a percentage on it, and nothing, literally. We actually help them set up their website for free. No one in our business is doing that. We help them set up their business, their website for free. We give them support literally 24/7. So there are times when team is not available and I have answered chat at 3 a.m. Right? Because someone's business is affected. Right? How can you not? Right? So I will suggest build, if you're starting it, build at something which is costing you less, giving you good features, giving you good website. You have good support. That is super important when you're starting. You're not a techie when you're starting this. Understand that very clearly. You don't want to make it a tech problem. You already have a problem you're there to solve by your product. You don't want one more problem to head on with you, right? So use a platform which is easy to use. If you want to talk to us, you can definitely talk to us. You want to try other platforms, no problem, go for it. Whatever helps you, go for that. Take the plunge, start your journey. um, right. Anything else that I can add? Probably I will suggest, if you are looking at starting with, let's say, Amazon or Flipkart or anything, I will still suggest first start with your community and not start with Amazon and Flipkart, because you need larger inventory and so on. Start with your website, share with people on groups, share with your stories, run few ads, see how people are reverting. You don't want to go to Amazon and get 1 star. Your journey is over right there, right? So start small, learn, understand what your revenues are, then go to a place which will eat away your revenue, probably eat away your brand also in future. So always start with branding and your own website, I would suggest. Then try out other things to expand.
Absolutely, Nirmal. So now when people start selling online, they
Yeah.
want their customers to pay them,
Yes.
especially if it's online, and then they want ease of use. So
Yes.
how can a seller collect their payments online?
Yeah, so this has been a very big change because of UPI. I mean, UPI has done billions of transactions in a month, not in a year. They are doing billions of transactions in a month, and we see traditional businesses who never go out of taking cash from people in hand are now so easily adapting to online payment gateways and so on. And we are super privileged, like I said before, to partner with PayU. 100 plus payment options, plus the offer that you're extending to OutdoCart users. Super grateful for that. 50,000 rupees of no charges for the transaction fees. 3 months of no transaction fees. This itself, if someone is starting a D2C brand, 3 months of not paying a single rupee other than the 500 rupees that they pay us, is going to take off so much load from them, and that's what makes such a big difference, right? So we talk to any person who doesn't have tech background, doesn't understand what to go with. We help them out, set the website. We help them connect with PayU. PayU team has been super grateful, super helpful to. I was just on a call with one of the managers right before this call, where one of the signups was not able to understand the form that he had to fill, and the manager got on the call with him, and I have not seen this happening anywhere, to be honest. So super grateful to PayU for the support, and hopefully this only increases from here.
Absolutely. Nirmal will try to keep that going.
Yeah.
Before we go into another question around payments, maybe if you can tell me, if you would want to, how can one grow their revenue, right? Like now they have started a D2C brand, they have built it, launched it. Now
Yeah.
how does one grow their revenue here?
Okay. Okay, I'll try to keep short. Um, First, what usually is the trend right now is going to influencers. Um, it is also something which D2C brands are very afraid of now. I remember listening to one of the founders recently who said that hiring a superstar is cheaper than hiring an influencer right now. Right, so better to hire a superstar to do your be a brand ambassador than hiring influencers. But yeah, there are still a lot of influencers. Look at influencers, one. Look at ads, second. See, these two will get you mostly first time users, right? People who saw your nice ad or search for you, search intent, etc. What you need to also think is, how do you retarget them, right? So you need to use a lot of email marketing, right? I remember ordering a very nice chocolate dipped cashews from one of the D2C brand, and the amount of content I've got from them is exceptional. I mean, I think I've ordered not because I miss the taste, but because I see the tempting photos and I keep reordering, right? So you need to understand, you need to create a house in your customer's mind in a way. And the only way to do that is keep visiting it, keep talking to them passively or directly or however it is required. And one way to do is email marketing, retargeting through the ads and so on. Other thing will be, once you grow, you have to launch offline if required. Not always. Let's say Wakefit is a very good example when it comes to D2C. They have experience stores, but mostly it's online sales, whether it is their own website or Amazon. They are actually doing very good on their own website. Probably equal or little cheaper than what Amazon will cost you for the same product of Wakefit. Launch on marketplaces, again, yeah, that can be something that after offline you also have to be on marketplaces, or either way you go with marketplaces first and offline later. Coming back to one of the old points, engage with your community, explain them what is new, share the content, share buyable things around your content, right? It should be transactional basically, and people should remember. For example, if you have a pattern that every month beginning is when your customers are purchasing after they get their salaries, you need to know that you either have to run like a combo which they can purchase with your favorite products which people usually purchase right around that time. So that helps basically trigger that, hey, it's already second and I had to purchase this, right? So I think that is something very important. Other thing which I keep saying to a lot of people and not happening much is bond with other D2C brands, right? Again, very silly example would be me selling biscuit with one of the chai brand, right? Let's say Vadam teas. I will try to approach them and see if my product can substitute with their product, whether it has a sample, whether it is whatever, right? So try to figure out chemistry with other D2C brands. You learn a lot. It's a very small community even today. There are traditional businesses. They are even more backward in understanding what is going on. So you need their scale understanding, manufacturing understanding. You need digital savvy people getting into but not understanding manufacturing. You need a mix of all of this and learn from each other. And sometimes even sell each other's products, sample each other's products. I feel that is happening very less right now. It should start happening at a very good level. That's how you can beat the big players. Probably even be a global brand in future, right? Another thing which is very common is probably offline exhibitions. Right now, it's not the best time, but when things go right, you should definitely try offline exhibitions, sampling. We have seen this a lot of times when we go to a supermarket and a very well-known brand will also be giving us samples to try out of their new product, right? So I'll suggest try out in your ways, your bandwidth. If you have the bandwidth of going to exhibition, if you have the bandwidth of, let's say, talking to some customers outside the supermarket, giving them samples, giving the samples online, sending out on Dunzo or whatever required to them, getting feedback, getting a video testimonial if you can, if they like the product, so that when you're launching, you have material ready also, right? So when you're launching, you say XYZ liked it and Mansa appreciated it, and Amir sent us this video after eating it. It blew his mind. Whatever it takes, right? You need to create that atmosphere that we are launching something which people have tried from our community and absolutely loved it. So yeah, I'll try to say that these would be the points that how you can grow your revenue. Again, suits based on category and capital you have and so on.
Absolutely. So one more question around what would you like to tell any of the benefits that enabling PayU has had while building a website on OutdoCart?
So PayU, for like I said, PayU, when even if I take my understanding, when we started this business, we take 100% online payment for our own platform, OutdoCart. If you go and pay $4.99, we take online payment. And trust me, we used to think that we are just 500 rupees and we have to give percentage out of it and so on. But players like PayU has helped us, right? So when we started, we started with another payment gateway, and then when PayU extended us this offer that we are able to keep our revenue, that really helps. Like it, even though it is a small percentage, trust me, when you're starting a website, when you're building a brand, when you're running out of money from every place, you're trying to go to Canva and build your own posters because you cannot afford a full-time person, right? You need to save every bit. And the thing that PayU extended with having 3 months of free transactions up to 50,000 is a clear win for anyone who's starting. Not just that, like I said, PayU is a privilege to be with PayU compared to, I wouldn't say names, but what I mean to say is that they are one of the oldest in this and one of the most connected brands. Right? They are not brands who have just started with a good branding and then something goes wrong and there is no support provided and so on. What PayU really does for OutdoCart customers is that it takes away the worry, because most of these guys are also starting to sell online first time. They have done UPI, but they never have felt when the money hits and they get a SMS saying someone paid you on your payment gateway. Right, so they are still in that stage where they don't know ye chalta hai, nahi chalta hai, and how will it work? What will I get when it happens? And how will the experience will be for the customer if the payment goes through and so on. So it's basically an experience which is great, plus the service which makes sure that it goes through. That itself makes a winning proposition, to be honest. So even if, let's say, in future when they are growing, they are very confident that this thing works and this thing gets the support required, even with all the payment options that a person can come up with payment. They will not get a customer going to WhatsApp and say, I cannot pay with this, I cannot do that, or this is not working. They are at least free in their mind that, I know that I have selected the best thing out there and now I don't have to worry about it. So plug it in once, forget about it, keep cashing in when your customers are paying you. So that's why, go with PayU.
Thank you so much for those words, Nirmal. So now if we were to sum this whole conversation up, what are the do's and don'ts for a D2C brand? Simply.
Oh, simply. Okay, do's and don'ts. So do's will be focus on your customer experience, 100%. That is what makes you different from all the big guys out there. Focus on customer experience. If required, talk to them yourself as a founder. Understand what they felt when they receive it, how do they feel when they wear it or use it, and so on. Right? Focus on quality, because you are starting as a small batch in a way of whatever you are building. You have to make sure that the quality is top notch. Second, focus on engagement. Sometimes what brands do is they start with really good content, engagement, and so on, and later they go silent, and that's when they are forgotten. Right? So create great content, keep sharing, make sure the engagement is always there, make sure your community is always thriving. That actually helps you, create that aura around your brand that customers love you, right? So keep sharing, keep engaging, never go silent. One of the very important things when you start an online business that you will understand is fast delivery, right? You don't want to sell something which takes 10 days to reach. I have been the end consumer when I received it after 10 days. And I buy so many things online that I have to recall what did I order that has come after 10 days. Right? So sometimes that excitement of using the product while purchasing kind of dies when it is received. Sometimes it is received and it is just left on your table for a day or so till you actually start even using it. So even between this, when you are ordering and when you receive the order, make sure you have engagement. Make sure you tell them how to. I remember seeing this about Mashti, where they send you a mail saying how do you Make sure that your t-shirts are always in the best shape and size and form, and how do you clean that, how do you wash them, how do you hang them, and so on. So you're priming them for the product when it reaches. You can only prime them when it takes not so long, right? It cannot take 10 days, and you're telling every day a few stories, and person has stopped reading after the third story, right? So so it's very important. You need to reach fast, at the same time prime them while it is reaching fast, right? Again, like the first point, similar to first point, which is customer experience, is customer feedback. Customer feedback is so important for a D2C brand that it can make and break the brand. If a brand is not listening to their customers and not improving, not changing, not expanding in the right direction, someone else will, and someone else will take away happily your customers, and your customers will not even want to come back and try it out again, what you are doing. Again, it depends on your luck, probably. Right. The last point I would like to add in this do's will be: keep innovating, keep launching new products, keep launching new variants of the same products at least. Don't try to be a one-trick pony. You might not be able to survive, especially in today's day and age where everything gets copied so fast. Your advantage, I keep saying this, we are bootstrapped, we are not funded. I keep saying this. Some of our competitors who are probably 10% of our size in what they have built as a platform have 30 million in funding. And I keep telling this to everyone, saying, don't fear the millions, fear the innovation that they are coming up with, right? So if they are innovating faster than you, if they are innovating better than you, you are in deep water. But if you are innovating faster than them, if you're listening to your customers, you are making better product, you are making products which people talk about to other people, and which genuinely gives them an ROI, is what matters, right? So don't worry what PNG is doing and everyone else is doing. Make sure you innovate. Make sure you create your own path. Again, don't innovate like everyone is putting charcoal, so I should also put charcoal. Everyone is putting neem, so I should also put neem. Colgate is already doing that, thinking of D2C and Patanjali and everyone, right? So they will follow that because now they see there is a market coming up doing that. For you, that is not the right way because someone is already doing it. You want to do something different. You want to look different. You want to package different. You want to give a different fragrance. You want to give a different feel to it. You want to give a different customer experience to it, right? So there are so many of these things that you can do and create brand in any category. These are some of the generic things I said, which ideally should work for any category. Okay, don'ts. Don't forget who is your target audience, right? So if simple example would be if you are targeting vegan, you should remember you're targeting vegan. You don't want to do messaging which is beyond, and people start saying things which are not required, or people people whom it is reaching to are not your customers, are not going to transact, right? So be very specific to people you engage with, people you run ads for, people people who are joining your community in one way or another. Try to be very clear who is your audience and who's your target audience, basically, not just audience, who's going to transact or who's going to engage in a good way, who's going to talk about you. Let's say you might be Ether, which is let's say a costly scooter, but you might be an enthusiast about EV, and you might have an EV car, but you don't need a scooter anymore, let's say. But you still want to encourage what is going on in India. You need those people in your community, and from them you need your transacting customers also coming in. Second, don't forget your value proposition, right? If your value proposition, again, let's talk about Ether, is EV. You don't want to start creating things which create pollution in different ways or use fossil fuels in different ways or so on, right? So don't forget that your value proposition can be a mission, can be a problem statement, can be anything. You don't want to forget that and start going into areas which are going to give you money, but at the end the label that is there on top of your product makes no sense, right? So you don't want to do that, and you have to be very, very careful, because you might get lured into getting a lot of things. Your investors, your advisors might say something which might not be right for you. Always have decision. That's why I said having brand story is very important. Keep reading it every day. Understand what is your problem statement and your mission, and stick to that. Expand in areas, but don't forget why you started. So that is very important. Um, One thing that people or brands already do, which you should also do, is don't let a brand review be open-ended. Uh, or let's say go unaddressed, right? So if someone is writing something bad about you anywhere, make sure your team reaches out, make sure you do it right for them. And it can happen with anyone. Don't be afraid, right? It happens with the biggest ones, it happens with the smallest one, it happens with a store owner who gave you something and it was not up to the mark. Right? It happens with everyone. Don't be too afraid of bad reviews. Try to address it correctly, try to make it right, try to make sure what has gone wrong is addressed properly. If anyone else who has bought in the same stock, make sure you call them, see if they are facing any problem, replace things for them required, give them refunds if required. Whatever is required, make sure that you bring them back to your good side. And that temptation of writing something bad happens with everyone. We also would have done with a lot of brands, but right, you as a founder, you don't have to be tempted to write back in a bad manner, or your team should not be doing it, irrespective of whether it is genuine or not. Right, someone reads it should not feel that you don't know how to address your customers. Right, so don't let it go unaddressed, and don't address it wrong. At least if you're doing it, don't do it wrong. Right. When you're launching to, let's say, a bigger set, so the first few points for let's say the new people who are coming in, right? So when you're getting into a growth stage, don't try to grow at a neck break speed without knowing that you are testing it properly, whether people will actually like the product that you are making. Run through your community always, right? It should be very well tested. When I say tested, it is like both a user testing it and a lab tested if required. Get the right certificates, authorities signed, etc. Make sure that you're not compromising on someone's health, or someone can get injured, or whatever it would be. Make sure that your quality is top notch. Make sure it is well tested. Make sure it is run through the community. Make sure it is really up to the mark to make sure your brand is not hit. The last point and don'ts would be, don't rely on third party. Like I said, you might launch on Amazon, and they might become your biggest competitor after a month or after a few months, right? Don't rely on third parties too much. Of course, use them to grow, but don't rely on them 100%. Otherwise, it might go bad for you, right? You might go dry any day. You don't want that, right? If your customers love you, they should not think Amazon pe kahan gaya ye, now I don't find it, or whatever, I don't find it, or on the shelf I don't find it, right? You should have your identity, your website, etc., so that people know your address where they can come and purchase from you. So make sure that that you don't rely on third party 100%. You have your own channels to sell, your branded, your controlled channels to sell. Probably that would be it.
Sure, Nirmal. Before we end, now if somebody
Yeah.
wanted to start their own online or a D2C brand, how do they reach out to you guys?
Okay. Most simple is go to OutdoCart.com. Outdo is an English word, but we have problem explaining outdo in India. Right? So it's OutdoCart.com. If you have come through PayU or OutdoCart, you would have already seen that name on the post. We are 100% made in India platform, built for India. We have opportunity to go abroad, and sell the same plan for $10, $20. But that's not the focus. We don't want to move away from before we fix things in India and make sure that people are not taken advantage in a way, literally taken advantage by selling them a brand which is international. I don't want to name it though. People were fighting them for 4 years to get a COD option. Like, for God's sake, if you want to fight for getting an option, what you are paying for on a platform, right? A paying platform is not ready to do a change that a whole country is asking for. We wanted to get that right, and we wanted to make it better, not just get it right. Right. So go to outdo.com. Feel free to reach out to me also if you want in any social platforms that you would find me. We will definitely help you build from zero to taking you to a big brand in offline, online, whatever it takes. We have done that for very big brands, and we can do it for you. Right. So feel free to sign up. Our team will call you within 24 hours. You can tell them that you have come through PayU. You will also get a month free because of that. So don't forget to mention that. We will also activate the 3-month trial, 3-month transaction free for PayU with that, and we will give you a month free. So you actually get 2 months free when you subscribe. Right? Gives you a very big advantage when you're just starting out. So definitely take this up. Take the plunge. Don't wait. Be an entrepreneur. We are there to support you end to end.
Sure, Nirmal. I think we come to the end of our questions. We might have overshot the session by a bit. I think we had a good conversation, so that's there. I'm sorry for the disturbance that was caused on my end for a bit. I apologize for that, but otherwise, thank you so much for being an amazing audience. Thank you, Nirmal, for taking this up with us. I believe we had a great conversation. And otherwise, I see a lot of, so this again, I'm going to address the chats. I see a lot of people asking if there are vacancies or anything at PayU. And otherwise, we do have vacancies. If you can just check our jobs on our PayU LinkedIn page. You have to go to the PayU LinkedIn page and click on jobs. There are many vacancies that we have. You can just click on one that that applies to you, and then try for that position. We'll see how it goes from there. But otherwise, this was a conversation with the founder, who is the founder of OutdoCart, and we were just talking about building and starting a D2C brand. Again, Nirmal, thank you so much. We'll see you all soon. We have another event on the 22nd. Please do catch us then as well. And thank you all very much.
Thank you, Bansa. Thank you, PayU, and looking forward to this partnership and building it together. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, reach out if you need any help. No problem.
Yes.
Thank you.